My bad, yo. Hey, it's an art form, yo. Okay.
You know what I mean? I did mad life drawing in my day. Keep it 100. Oh man, that's funny. Damn, I gotta figure out if I can edit these videos when I get them. Whatever. That's why I was supposed to be doing this a test. Bam. Whatever. It's the agency. I'm your host, Agent Mbey. I'm here with my boy Kyler Davis. We about to get it in, do an art critique.
What doth it do?
That's what it is. Let me do a more solid intro. I know I probably introed him on a longer ago video, but Kyler's the homie from Norfolk. You know what I'm saying? We rocked out in Norfolk for quite a while. We did a show out in Richmond, Virginia. We've been exploring these abstract spaces for quite a while through our works. And we used to work at the Christ Museum together. So all that vibes, photographer. What else you want to be?
Philanthropist.
Visual artist, philanthropist for sure.
Photographer, abstract artist,
underground freestyle artist.
Hey, big facts.
Rapper.
Big facts. You know what I'm saying? I try to dabble in a little bit of everything out here.
You gotta be able to have a hot 16 and be able to run a game of 21. Like that's it.
At all times, bro.
You always gotta be ready for that.
At all times.
Anyway.
Let me see if I can well, go ahead and go through it. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen, make sure these things pop up real quick.
Yappity yap. So it's been I've been gone for like 3 months from the art home where we rocked out. I'm curious of more so what things been going on with you. I know what's going on with me. I ain't really shared too much with the world like that or the space like that, but
sure.
You know what I'm saying? I figure we catch up on that. You did anything like artistically, like being out in the community or anything like that? I know we're still in pandemic mode, but I'm curious. You work at a museum. So.
No, not really. I just been out here around these old folks, man, all day.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wonder if it's like less interesting to. Yeah, I was about to say, I wonder if it's less interesting to do those things because you already work at a museum. That's like the space already. So it's like
it is, yeah.
I'm there already, so there ain't no point trying to go do too much on my own in the middle of this pandemic.
Plus, it really ain't much going on out here either, man. Everything done closed down. Yeah. Norfolk ain't really art town anymore.
No more?
Nah, I mean, it used to be back in like 2016. It used to be.
It was still a little lit a little bit before I left. I was on. I don't know what she was on.
You wasn't in Norfolk. You was out in Virginia Beach and Newport News and Hampton. There wasn't nothing going on.
No, I just did my last mural in Norfolk before I left out.
Nah, I don't do murals, so yeah.
What you mean? It's all the same to me. I say Norfolk, but I just mean it all, man. It's all 757. But I feel you. Yeah, like you just share.
Oh, you can see that jump?
Yeah, it just popped up.
True. Yeah, my computer froze up too. Oh, shucks.
Oh, a little early. Ready to get into it already? Golly.
You know I ain't even done this before, so.
That's all good. That's what we're here for. First one's supposed to be ugly.
So you can see all of this.
Yeah, everything you move your mouse over.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let me unshare my screen. But I go back. Oh, I got you. Okay, we learning.
Yeah, it is.
For everybody watching, I know I'm only 29, but I'm super old, yo. So y'all got y'all gonna have to live with me right quick.
Yeah, it's about to be real old for you once you hit that 30.
Man, what? I'm a couple months away from that thing, man.
Yeah, I'm hurting right now, bro. I went on a hike yesterday, so I was like, I went like 11 miles on my dolo. So I'm sore, but I'm good.
Hey, that's real talk. So you want me to get into what I've been up to?
Yeah. If you got anything news you want to share with me, I don't care about everybody else that's watching.
Hey, right.
I want to know.
I was looking at the Contemporary Arts Network because they
Mm-hmm.
post a little joint or whatever for like folks to come through and do like collaboration works. So I was about to put in my application, then I went to the site and that joint said $250 application fee. So I like about that. Shout out to them though. You got to get your bread shouted. So I just so
I
other
hear
than
you just fine. You gotta.
oh, you right, you right.
Yeah, he's just good.
I'm acting
Real
like
good.
people are watching this live right now.
Y'all
But
got me. Y'all got me. Y'all hear me?
But other than that, one thing I do got going on is I got that vestibule spot in July. So
Facts. I forgot about that. Super hype about that.
yeah, that's gonna be super dope. So I'm about to the series I'm about to show on here is gonna be the series that I pick some pieces from, or maybe just one piece, because we going big all 2021. I told myself we ain't doing nothing smaller than 24 by 24 this whole year. So
yeah, that's interesting when you think of like, because knowing your medium, that's big for your medium.
big facts.
But
Yeah,
like,
y'all doing 100 guys. Yeah,
I was like, oh, all right. We talk
slight
about
work.
printing. We talk about printing. So yeah, I hear that. Yeah,
I got a new camera that allowed my quality to go up. So based on the way I'm creating now, it's like I done came across some real realizations out here, man, as far as my art practice.
That's tough. That's being in that artist isolation and just like soaking stuff up for so long that eventually something come through and you just gotta act on it.
Yeah, man. I realized that I used to think that photographing light was the key to all this, but now I realize, like, bro, I done created like a workflow now where literally the world is my oyster. Everything is for use. Everything's free out here now. So I abstract anything, literally anything I want.
You've walked into the forest.
Man, I took the blue pill or the red pill. Whichever pill.
I never know, bro.
I'm out the matrix. That's all I
It's
mean.
the violet pill. I took both.
Yeah,
I'm taking color theory right now. I use violet more than I use purple now. Like purple's not a color to me right now. It's violet.
Hey, that's a real like. I kind of believe that same thing with burgundy. It's like, man, I'm not really a purple dude. I'm more of a, I guess burgundy ain't purple, but it is to me. It's like a plum. It's next to plum, you dig? So
yeah,
one of them things.
I hear that.
But yeah, man, I got some. The art practice definitely gonna be different going forward. I'm about to be approaching different subject matter. It's gonna be mixing heavy representational with full abstraction and abstraction with semi-representational subject matter, and we just gonna be doing our thing, man, evolving and growing, man. So
Word up. Cool. I'm gonna jump into a little bit of me, and then I'm gonna get into I don't have like a timer on here, so I don't know. You don't tell me how long I got for because I feel like I could play for as long as I want or record or whatever, or Zoom as long as I want, but I don't know. I got it set for 45 minutes and it might shut off at 40, so I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, I'm
speed it up.
I don't know. I feel like me talking about what I'm doing goes into what I create too. But I mean, I did the mural out here when I first got out here, so that was fire. And then I just been on my like own thing since then. I applied for this other project, but I ain't heard back from it, and I should have heard back from it by now. So it seemed like I ain't getting it. I ain't getting the interview call. So that is what it is. That'd have been nice. It'd have been a nice little project for a couple of years. But so yeah, now it's just going getting back into finding stuff to apply for, but that has got me back into like what I'm doing now, is working within the studio space and just creating what I create with what I got, documenting that, and then hitting them back with the Agency YouTube channel. We're back. Anyway, mad corny. So
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna go ahead and do this share screen joint so that we can get this rocking. So what we're doing right now is we're gonna do a quick, just a critique, just a little talk back and forth. This is for the fans to listen to this part that I'm describing, but we're just gonna talk about things that we've been creating, what we've been doing, where our like creative spaces or mental spaces, and just go through a couple pieces, three each. I think we're gonna do. So I'm gonna go through mine. Mine are all fairly similar. Was this the first one I did like this? I started rocking with watercolors first off. Since coming out here, because all I had was like my watercolor pads and small materials, because I ain't all my studio stuff is back in Virginia. So I was like, I can rock with some watercolors, explore some light stuff. But then one of my major things from coming out here has been my environment, and really like soaking up my environment and taking the imagery that I'm soaking in and like putting that in my work. And I really enjoyed, like when I used to visit out here, just the foliage, the different foliage. There's so much like cactus and like thick leaf succulent type plants that are the norm, and those are just easier to illustrate, so they're more appealing to me than like your regular oak trees and stuff that you see on the East Coast with all the leaves and stuff. Like, they take a little bit more work, but these are like a lot more simple, and I can look at it the way I look at figures when I'm still looking for like contrast and casting light. And so I was just looking at ways to incorporating that imagery or that foliage into my figurative work to kind of document the new space that I'm in, a new place that I'm in, and how that's affecting my artistry. So as usual, I started with a kind of a self-portrait piece from a older fit. This photo was from like Richmond, when I was in Richmond sometime, doing some stuff, playing around. I like my activity. So I just put that in there and just snap these two images. This like the cactus was from a hike.
Okay, that's
I was on a hike. Yeah, it was a cactus. At least the cactus was way taller than me in real life. But it is what it is, just art. But I was just looking into I was on a hike, one of the first hikes I did since I came out here. And I saw that one. It was just like standing out on the hill side by itself. Well, the two of these cactus together were right beside each other. So I went on, I was like, I took a picture of that, and then I used that to paint and see what I came out with. I think I posted this, and a couple people commented. It was like, "Oh yeah, that's fire, that's dope." And that's one of them somebody suggested. That was before I was finished. It was like, "Oh yeah, throw a little purple in that neck in the background, so you know what I'm saying, get a little more depth in it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I knew it was something. I'm gonna get on that." It was actually one of my old students when I was teaching at Art Institute. So I was like, "I got you. I'm gonna do that." So that was fire to get that little interaction. And then I don't know, just like I was trying to also like, so there was another artist that I've been looking up. I've been like following on Instagram. He goes by John Drawing, where he does watercolor, and he does a lot of illustrative line work in his watercolors. And so you see that reflected in there. So I was exploring that a little bit. So that's why you can see like the cross hashing in. So I laid all that in first, and then I came in and painted over top of it. And that forces me to put more layers of color over top of it, so that you don't see so much of the graphite or that undertone.
Right.
So it worked out in my favor to work that way. And then, I just kind of continued to step it up. So the next two, I'm gonna go to the next one and come back to that one. I did this one next, similar in style, same process. And then like this circle over here, little circular part, that was actually like, I walked away from the paint, I came back, and somehow in that time frame, I had like spilled some paint on there. And I was like, dang, like this is not supposed to be there. So I was like, how can I freak it? You know what I mean? So I just, what did I do? I did some, I think I took a wet brush and just like made a clear path of water around it, like circles with the water. Because when you let the water sit like that, then you just like throw in a little, like, it's almost like just throwing like dye on it and just hit it with the color and it spread. So I just did that with different colors to let it, like colors that was already used to reflect what was in the image already.
It looks like a puddle almost.
Right. Yeah, I was like, all right, cool, we doing that. So I did that. I probably could have did it somewhere else just to give it a little more balance or something. But yeah, this is another one again, like looking at foliage and plant life and bringing that imagery together with, my usual illustrative work. So this is a person I went to school with a couple times, Hampton and high school, and we used to work together back in high school. She like travels the world and stuff, and so we have some dope images. So I snatched that. It's probably like two different images of her, like the active one that I took the head from somewhere else. But this one came out fire too. I thought.
Yeah, I really like the graphite marks and within the watercolors. That's ill.
Right. Yeah. So, cause I my whole point of like exploring painting was to figure out how to duplicate what I do in illustration in a
Mm-hmm.
painting style. And then, my first thought used to be, I just got to paint like I draw, but the mediums don't work that well like that. They don't work the same. Like a brush don't go across the paper the same way pencil does.
Right.
So this is me like exploring how to still trying to figure out how to get that done in a way that fits my style or fits me. Because I've seen other people that have done it and done it successfully, and I haven't been able to completely duplicate it. But the more I try, the more I figure out what works well for me. But that also helps me because like if I kind of lock in some of the shading with the pencil, then it lets me know how to paint it too. And people do that all the time too. Like a lot of oil painters and stuff, they do that too. They're laying that light graphite background before they paint. They might do it with the graphite powder, or they might do it with the pencil, or they might do different things. So I was like, this is what works for me. So that's what I do. So that's what I've been doing. And then the last one, I don't think I did any of that because I was what? Nah, not really. But I was in a different space. I was watching this this talk about this book called Black Futures. Yeah, I gotta remember the authors' names. But I was watching the talk, and it was in collaboration with the Smithsonian Museum. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna see what these sisters talking about. And the book was fire. It's really just like an anthology of just like things that have been happening throughout the culture, but like just documenting things like from tweets to artwork to musical moments, just all things that relates to like African American or Black culture. Right. That's been happening in like the media, like pretty much just like creating a physical object that holds that representation, that holds that history, because like the digital space holds history these days, but like a book still holds a little bit more weight in that. So
for now,
yeah.
Them NFTs coming through.
Yeah, I had that on my list to talk about fire. Yeah. Good. I felt like that would be one of the ones we could get into. But yeah, so this one I had thought of this this idea or whatever before, but like this still fits within like my realm of creation, like my idea of like who we are in the virtual and physical space, and how do those kind of two spaces, how do we amalgamate into this new form in those two spaces? And so I wanted to like be a little bit more intentional and like straightforward as opposed to trying to be so metaphorical. And so doing my usual piece, and trying to I was trying to be looser too with so I don't got like the legs really defined, nothing like that. Like I wasn't caring about that. But being a little looser, that's what watercolors allow me to do too, is like just be loose with the paint and let that be a little bit more expressive. But then I knew from the jump that I was gonna throw a smiley face on top of the head and just let that, like my transparency, how I do, like let that kind of work in that space. Right. Where that part you're playing with your mind, but like the imagery is so like obvious, because I think like at least me, for an artist, like we can get so deep sometimes that we like miss the point or miss the easy thing to do that's still just that's powerful, because like I don't have to explain so much if you see this, because you're like, oh, everybody knows what a smiley is. It's an icon. It's recognizable, and it answers a lot of questions, and people can easily relate to it. And whatever story they come up with after that, I don't care. But if I'm asked to have that conversation, then I can get into my deeper. This is what I'm trying to explore and whatever. So that's what this one was. A couple of different photos of cactus. I think this was a dragon fruit plant that we saw at the store. We was at like Lowe's or something, and then some rocks from a walk that I was on. And I think the drawing was already done before I took the pictures of those rocks. So when I came back from that walk, I put them in there just to add to the composition. And that's where I was at. That's where I'm at right now, as far as like what I'm exploring for my own thing.
I think this is interesting. You should go forth with doing more emojis. You should make an emoji series, because I've been seeing, I want to say I've been seeing a lot, but I've been noticing that the art world has been leaning more towards, I guess, referential things as it pertains to lighthearted social media. I want to say narratives, but parallels you did. Mm-hmm. So like I've seen some people use emojis in their art show, like on some really lighthearted art pieces. Like, okay, It's interesting, but it's really interesting how you use it in this particular case, though. So
yeah, and it's like I don't like the thing I like about what I do, or what I did and created my agent characters, is that like I defined myself or my artistry through that, so that anytime that I explore content or something that other that people are easily or explore other content that people are already doing or something like that, I can always reinterpret that in my own way to where it's like, all right, like I've seen plenty of images of people having artwork with, a smiley as the head or an emoji as the head or whatever. But when I take it into context of my work and how I can between like my painting process and how I can overlay like this so that you can still see the person who's there. But
that's the interesting part.
Yeah, I mean, but overlaying that with how we, whatever the internet, overlay with the internet. It's really as simple as that. Like it's too obvious to be explaining.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my excuse. It's too obvious to explain.
No, I feel that.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with my 3. I don't like these are at the stage where I don't have names for them. They'll change every time somebody asks. But since they're just in the sketchbook, it ain't like I got I probably have a name somewhere that I've written down to where like the concept or whatever. It's like, oh, that's the name of this show. I do that all the time. Like, oh, that's gonna be the name of a show right there.
Right.
And then eventually you get to the work for it. But yeah, that's my 3. And get you rock out your 3, see what you at. Or then we can talk about your show coming up, since you said they're gonna be talking about that.
Oh, it's mostly just gonna be man, I haven't decided how many pieces it's gonna be yet. So at this point, I don't even want to call it a show. It's just kind of like a showing. You dig?
Showing, that's hard. Yeah, it is.
So it's like a mini show, which I'm totally.
I mean, it lasts as long as any other regular show.
It does, for sure.
But yeah, like even my piece was like, it wasn't a show because it was one piece. Mine was like an installation. So it was like,
right, yeah.
I got this installation up for a month.
Yeah, type thing. So I'm gonna start off with, I don't know how you was doing yours, but mine's gonna be a little more janky. So.
I mean, do have it work. Yeah, I'm gonna try to tell you how to make that work. I'm working with what I got. I ain't even on my Mac right now because that joint busted.
True, dang, bro.
Yeah, I gotta give me a new joint.
All right, so check me out this joint right here.
All right, here we go. Ooh.
All right, so this is one of the newer pieces I've been working on. Started a series back last year during the time of all the protests and all the unrest and anger and the sadness and all that stuff. And I went down to Richmond and photographed a bunch of the graffiti on Monument Avenue.
Yeah.
And I pretty much just been taking those images and abstracting them, deconstructing them and reconstructing them back into compositions that are more abstract but semi-representational, as you can see. So, I wish I had the original photo. I didn't pull it off my desktop, but
it's all good.
It was a photo that I took. It was just some blue graffiti on a cinder block that said police. So what I did was made some layers, did some things. Obviously, you can see some of a street back here and things going on in the background. But this is the O from the police,
right?
So initially it was more of a portrait photo, but I looked at it, I felt like I had to crop it because it just it felt right for some reason. But yeah, it's definitely a new process I'm taking. It looks, initially I didn't like it as much because it looks very much like graffiti, the other thing that I use when I'm photographing light. A lot of my other pieces were very smooth and very polished looking, you dig? Where in this case, everything is very much so rough, and I don't want to say rough, but it's textured. Precisely, it's textured a lot. So it was something new for me, new process. But I think it was interesting working in this way because it gave me a little more wiggle room and it stepped me outside of my box, made me realize like literally anything I photograph, I can do this too. So that's where we're at right now. So
that texture is like, even if like I didn't read it as graffiti, I would read it as graffiti and street just because of the text. Like the texture brings that out. Like it's like that zoom in. Like you could spray paint something and look at it from a distance. But then this feels like when you zoom in, be like, this is what the texture of the wall looks like that the paint's on,
Yeah.
or the street looks like, or the curve, like that's what it feels like. And then it looked like you got like some over in the corner of it.
Up here.
Other
Over
corner,
there.
yeah. Does it look like some eyes to you? Like an eyebrows and some eyes looking down?
Nah, honestly, I didn't see that before, but I see what you talking
It
about.
almost feels like
That's
it feels like when somebody like takes the Mona Lisa and just like crop out that her eyes,
right.
place it somewhere in the artwork. That's what it looked like. As much as it's not that, but like that's what I always love about. Well, when I love good or abstract artwork that creates that. You know what I mean? I think that there's a scientific word for when like you find faces in places that there ain't faces, because we like
pareidolia.
That's why you on the other end of this.
You know what I'm saying? We out here.
That's hard. You get yeah. Wait, I just wanted to say that about that. There's a lot more to say about this piece, but you know.
No, for sure. It's definitely something I'm still working on and working towards. I'm trying to find like the other pieces I made that I would consider perfectly finished at this point. The series I posted on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, on my abstract joint, the blue ones, if you remember. Those ones are finished. Those ones are what I would consider polished, but those also have profanity in it. I know the Christ ain't rocking with. I know the Christ ain't rocking with what it said in there, but
so you ain't about putting
yeah,
the joint.
Yeah, I'm working
on.
They
had a whole piece that had some profanity on it.
They ain't nobody see that though.
Why? Because it was back in the cut.
I mean that too. That's a whole nother conversation.
It was there though.
I never realized it till you pointed it out.
Yeah, it's true.
Like I had no idea it was there till you pointed it out. Like tough, super tough.
Yeah,
but
you gotta do that.
Yeah, it's one of them things. I'm trying to.
You gotta buck on people sometimes, bro.
But you got to know your audience too, though. You know what I'm saying? You got to know your audience. I'm trying to sell these.
You gotta let your audience know you.
Like, they gonna know me. Yeah,
I feel like if they
like
hear
T.I. said.
I feel like if they just heard you say something about I had these pieces that I didn't want to show because of this, they could be like, where they at? Now I want to know those pieces. Why you ain't show them joints?
Yeah, what did he say? I mean, yeah, you're right. It creates a level of mystery for sure. But man, yeah, I don't know.
Like where it's going. This reminds me of why we did the show before, because like there's like the layering that's in here.
Facts.
Is what interests me. Like you, like in an abstract work, you can still create things like depth, composition, balance. So you can still fit all those things in a work that's supposed to be abstract and just all over the place. But like, nah, all of that's there because of an understanding of proportion, all of that, like repetition. That's why, like, the fact that you call it donut and it's got like the small white circle in the middle.
Right.
You see the yellow, the kind of big yellow on the main circle, but then you see the circle that's, that's kind of
on this side. Are you talking about this?
The empty circle, that you can see the background. No, around the outside of the yellow.
Got you.
Right before you get to that like white outline, there's that blue, the background, everything is behind the main image, all that layering. Like you see all that, like it's just so many like repetitions of that circle that you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, but then like it's aptly named. You know what I mean, whether you would call it that or not, like it's aptly named. The story is all there. Like I said, like it's being straightforward. Sometimes is the best way to go because like. I can't sit there and just like out the blue, just name some of my artwork, some deep name because of some book I read.
Right.
If it had nothing to do with the piece, but like my artwork is really just portraiture of people, you know what I mean, in their spaces. So it's really easier if I just like call it like portrait of young girl, like, you know what I mean? So I started exploring, names like that. It's like, oh yeah, portrait of, agent jumping. That's it.
We'll move on to the next jump.
Yeah, what else you got in there?
All right, let's see.
So this one.
This one right here. You know how I normally work in brother, sister, and cousin pieces, right? So normally when I make pieces, it's up to like 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 pieces. Some of them get deleted. You know what I'm saying? Not all of them make the cut. But within the realm of this colorway and these compositions, this one made the cut for me. And you can obviously see it was a brother piece to the donut, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Same color scheme. It's the ice in police, though. as you can see. So yeah, but this one I don't know. I'm thinking that I might try to spell out the whole word police with multiple pieces. You know what I'm saying? So I have like
Yeah.
the O, then I have like a P, then have the ice and the L, something like that. It would, I think it'd be very interesting for people to approach it like that.
So you mean if you mean as far as doing the show, how you would do it,
Yeah,
spelling out
yeah,
the dad? That'd be hard. Dang, yeah, I think that'd be hard. So would you turn this so that it will read correctly or keep it vertical?
I'd probably turn it so to read correctly, but
Right.
it depends on what space would allow because it's not the biggest space. I'm trying to go big, so
Yeah,
in
yeah.
theory, I could
And
just
there's
throw a big piece in there.
a fire alarm joint right there.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
remember it's like in the middle of the wall. It's like perfectly
For
placed
sure.
to be in the way.
Yeah, right.
I definitely had to paint around it.
So yeah, but this piece again, I kept this one because I like the layering I was developing in the background of this one. It's really interesting when can I zoom in on here? Oh, I can, huh?
If you can, yeah, you can zoom in. Don't you got the plus zoom right there?
Oh, shucks. Yeah, see, we got definition 2 with the zoom in, bro.
Yeah.
We about to print these Jones big. They can't stop me now. They can't even stop me now. But
ooh, I seen a little crushed concrete piece over there.
Oh yeah,
Up a little
right
bit
there.
right there. Yeah.
I like that too.
It's like a little mountain. It's a whole nother composition. You put a whole like scene right there.
Yeah, you're right. You definitely right. Just flip it,
little.
man. This could be its own composition right here by itself. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this thing looked mad boring before I added the background layers and I was trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I realized like, I just need to create these. I need to work from these in the same way I'd work from my other light photos. So once I did that, it was on and popping. I'm like, okay, yeah, we cooking with grease now.
So are you saying that your light series informed your process on these pieces, and so you changed your approach to working with these the same way you worked on your light series, and that's what gave you the idea that like you could do anything now?
Exactly. Yeah. Precisely.
Yeah. You've reached the force.
Precisely. It was like the
just walked into the forest.
Brain explosion moment. I'm like,
so I have arrived moment.
Man, what? And it's funny, I'm reading this book. There's this artist named Jack Whitten. You probably know about him. Black abstract artist from like the 60s, 70s, 80s. And I'm reading his diary called Notes from the Woodshed. And
that's hard.
Yeah, right. Literally the day after I came to my realization, I was out reading by the pagoda reading that book, and I came across something that pretty much was confirmation bias from me. I read, I'm like, dang, bro. He's like, he's speaking directly to me right now, bro. It's like, the world feels like my oyster at this point, which is very freeing.
Yeah, I will say it's almost a scary sight, a scary moment though. You got to learn to control it once you get there, because everything starts to look possible, and you lose focus because you're like, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. You know what I mean? That's where your ideas become so like crazy that you're like, you never come around to like making the show or doing it. You know what I mean? Just that's what I'm saying. Like I could do a bunch of one-offs of all the ideas I have, but then like it doesn't speak to like a concept too deeply. So I like, you know what I mean? Like you saying like, yo, you got to do some more than smiley emoji joints. I'm like, yeah, I know you're right.
Right.
But so far I've done one. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can't do every, man. There's so many ideas out here, bro. It's like it's one thing at a time nowadays, bro.
Yeah. But at least you do have the focus of knowing like what it is that you create and how you're going to go about creating it.
Yeah.
And so it's just a matter of looking at the new or seeing that new inspiration through that lens, as opposed to seeing it and being like, oh, what could I do with that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I already know how I could do it.
Yeah.
Now I got to figure out why I'm doing it or something. You know what I mean?
Like you saw the other piece I created from that graffiti thing, and it ain't look nothing like my. Remember that I took. You saw some of the pieces. You might not remember them, but like it was, or it wasn't this. You know. So I definitely feel as if all the practice and all the studying and all the, I guess, exploration I did within my original process when it comes to photography, it definitely paid off now to the point where I realized, like, okay, it's about the process now. As long as I keep my same process and creating the same way, then the world is the oyster for me now, which is, we'll see where it goes from there, man. I'm definitely interested. I like this series I'm creating because it's more like a collaboration piece with everybody who put that graffiti. Is a collaboration piece with the community, you know.
Right.
Like, it's me taking their pain, their anger, their hopefulness, their literally everything that they left behind. I'm like, yo, I'm about to take this and literally recontextualize it in a way that's more or less consumable, you dig, depending on the person. But it's an interpretation. And that's why I'm interested in this as a series, because it's more than just abstractions. It's like actual, it's a collaboration piece.
It's a little bit more like context.
Than
just, you know what I mean, light. But like that's like the same thing that like you exploring light the way you were, like that was, at least like from my perspective, it seems like it was the exploring like the medium and the material. It wasn't about the like the deep meaning or the context. It was the same way that I was exploring like in my abstract works, exploring color. Like it was just color theory for me. It's really all I was exploring. I'm not trying to tell too many crazy stories outside of like the process that I'm doing is still in line with like the digital space. So I'm doing it like my background, like it's very you know geometric, angular, and you know that feeling or sense of, you know, like that structure that you see in the digital world, or that you believe, you know, whatever, it's pixels. So I explore it through that process as opposed to a more loose exploration of paint and color and theory. But that's how I was understanding it. But if I was sitting there trying to give you like a super deep like contextual meaning of it, like, nah, I was exploring color theory.
Right.
There's a whole art movement is based on that. Like, so why I should be able to get off on that for a minute, and then like when I'm ready to do some more deeper related stuff, I'll do that. So I hear that.
I see. I'm gonna pull this other joint. There's a phrase that one of my teachers, when I first created this style when I was in when I was in college, right? So as a photography major, none of my teachers had any clue as to what I was actually doing when I started making this stuff, because they're traditional photographers. And they were older too. So it's like I was in some really heavy exploration thing. My teachers always asked me like, why are you making this? Like, what does it mean? I didn't know. You dig what I'm saying? But it literally was during quarantine where I realized like, yo, I'm literally just using, my whole goal is to use photography in the medium in the same way that a painter uses paint in a paintbrush. You know what I'm saying? Like the camera is my paintbrush, the actual photo is the paint. And it's like, yo, so I'm at that point now where it's like, okay, it's bigger than just photography. It's like photography, the photo isn't the end goal. It's like, where can you go from that photo? What is a photo? What can a photo be? Like, what isn't a photo? You dig? Like, I feel like naturally this is the next step for photography. You saw what paint did. It was heavy representational for so many years. And then somebody was like, man, we got to move into impressionism because representation is not the same anymore. And you see how watered down photography has become with the rise of Instagram. People are just flooded with photos all the time. So now photography as a medium, as an art form, doesn't mean as much, because they like, well, I could take that photo. I'm like, you can. You definitely can if you're in the right place, right time. Like, I'm not gonna argue that with you. I think this type of art in the photography world is the next step toward, you know. But we'll see.
Like when I was in grad school and we had paint and studio. Like it was paint and studio as a grad class, but the like deeper concept behind the class was that painting wasn't about the actual medium. It was about understanding what painting as a process is. And you can explore painting through, you know what I mean, all kinds of mediums and materials, but knowing the feeling of it. So that's, you know, same thing you're describing there. Because I like now when I create like murals and stuff and I'm pulling out my tape to use it, like I don't feel like I'm just putting down tape to block out color anymore. I feel like I'm painting with my tape.
Yeah, you want to leave the tape up there, like, yo.
Well, not even that, but like it just feels a part of the process, as opposed to it being like I have to do this so that I can get my color down. It's like, no, like I have to do this because it's a part of this is just as important as a brushstroke to me. Like I'm not just laying it there just to be putting it anywhere. Like it's too much in my mind when I'm laying the tape and making a decision on where I'm putting the tape to just call it like, oh, I'm just putting down tape. Like it's not me just putting it. It's like, oh, I'm trying to make a chair rail or something. Like I need these two tones on this. Like, nah, I need to cover certain areas with my tape so that when I put this paint over, I know what the paint below is going to look like. And then I can work off of it. So it's just way more important how I'm using tape. I need to get that sponsorship. Go ahead.
Hey, big facts, man.
This one's fire. It looks like it's got like
content.
this one like the police and the people. It's interesting because to read the title and then like I already had an idea of what I'm seeing because it's like this one almost looks kind of like has a couple of different like it's broken apart. So it has like 3 different cleared or distinct. It's almost like a triptych, but like the middle strip looks like there's a boat there, so that's fire. Like just that whatever imagery that's supposed to whatever, and then like the top part with the pink, and we got the 2. I guess it's the P and the O. That looks like when you look at that shape and the colors there, that looks like a cat, like a cartoon cat. Because you got the big yellow spot that looks like the nose, and then it's like the whisker part of the mouth.
I could actually see that.
And now it looks like like a classic cartoon of a cat. So I'm like, there's so much character now into this piece, as opposed to it just being whatever it is, what the inspiration that it is. But like, it's all still there too, like the original interest. But yeah, this one reads dope.
That's interesting. Like I guess when I first created it, I wanted to have some type of bridge in between it because I don't know, there's an O in people and there's an O in police, right? And they're trying to find that middle ground. You did, but it's so far apart right now. I know this is the deepest one at all. If you peep game, the color in the middle is blue and red, just like the siren colors. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. This is an interesting piece for me because I guess this is the most hopeful piece, if you will.
Yeah.
And
it sounds like you need like 4 pieces in your show.
I do, dog. I do, man.
You get the 2 concepts because like this one, it doesn't look like it fits the first concept of like trying to spell out police with 3 different pieces or however. But if you did that with like, all right, I got these 3 pieces, I spelled out police, and then this one is just like just another like. This one has the story that you told, like it holds all that. It's also a triptych, so it has 3 pieces in it, but it's all one piece. But it's like it holds all that like the same amount of power. But then I don't know. It's just dang, man. I can't stand having friends that's dope, yo.
Yeah, I love that shit, dog. Cause I be needing inspiration. In all honesty, man, it's like I look to folks that I know, folks like you and folks like the other homies. Like, man, I rock with their work, which makes me want to create. When I see folks doing things like, I dig that. Definitely dig that.
Yeah, like I want to make the work that make me feel like I've been, like, I don't know, maybe I'm more interested because like I didn't create this, so I feel like I can talk more from like, what I mean? Like, so like,
it's always how it is.
That's how I feel like I want my work to do. Like, but I'm not gonna talk that way about my own work because it's my work.
Right.
I already know it, so I get tired of talking about it. But I get more excited talking about other people's work because like, oh, let me see if I can break down what I feel like I see. But like, if I didn't like it, if I didn't think it was really hitting, I wouldn't have that much to say. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, all right, cool. But like, but also learn how to like, like somebody else is talking about it. But like, we just like the way to break down an artwork is, like you use the basic like principles of design and all that. You start there, and then you can go into concept and all that. But like just breaking down like, oh, it looked like 3 different pieces.
Yeah,
this looks like a cat, so I like that. You know what I mean? Like that's you can look at the artwork and just say that could be it. You got it almost like you got a Bitcoin symbol in the yellow. Oh, now I just seen it right there. That's hard.
Which one? This one?
Nah, down at the bottom. Nah, but the it look like a that almost like it'd be a new dang. I feel like if I say it, whatever, like it'd be like a new logo for a cryptocurrency or something. You know what I mean? Like,
somebody gonna steal it now. Yeah,
it ain't came out yet, so we can hold this video.
Facts though.
To figure it out.
It's weird. I didn't even see that, bro. That's
what happens. That's what like I mean. Like when you take the time to like look into the artwork and. You know what I mean? Leave those secrets or whatever in there. Then that's when you're like, oh, I get that now. Like, I remember
think
hearing
that,
somebody else talk about my work that way. It's like, yo, it's like a game. Like you're trying to figure out how the neck, do what I'm like, that's it. Like
big facts,
if I
big
can get you
facts.
to do that, then I'm happy because I got you in front of the artwork and you're curious, and then you can go, where the artist at? I'm trying to figure out what this about.
Yeah. I like when people spend time in front of my piece trying to figure something out, because then it lets me know, like, all right, I did something right here. I don't know what's going on in their brain, but I did something right. Like they pondering, pontificating.
Yeah. You know, like what I like most about your work is that because I know, like, I still look at most artwork from painter illustrator point of view. So I look at it as if somebody was trying to paint this
Right.
with paint.
You could.
Right. But I know that it wasn't because I know you. And so it makes it more interesting as far as like knowing the process was different. So like in my head, if I'm thinking like, oh, how could I duplicate this? And I'll be like, man, that'd be so many different crazy ways trying to like layer the paint and do it that way. But like,
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Right. But then I feel like I'm the same way with you. Like, I don't know where you started with, you know what I mean? When you start working your edit knobs, I don't know what they call it. I can't think of it.
I'd be calling them I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
all your adjustments and stuff, all the stuff for your adjustments. I noticed what you're doing. Like, the edit knobs. whatever you're using to make your adjustments. I mean, like I know I could do it. I could do it loosely when I gotta Photoshop something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm never doing anything to the extent of this, to where it's like you playing around with those knobs is me mixing my paints. You know what I mean? Like, let me see what I like. Let me like I at most I do it when I'm working on like a sketch on like Illustrator or something, and I'm trying to choose colors for my composition to figure out how like that I can translate because I'm creating it knowing exactly how I'm gonna paint it. So it's easier for me to be like, all right, I'm gonna choose these colors, these gonna overlay, and I'm gonna get this out of it. Cool. But this is got way too much texture and everything to be like, yeah, I don't even know how. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to figure out how you got that white strip under the little whisker joint under the O in the top part? Like, what part of that was itself versus what part was like, how much of it was adjusted? How did he flip it? And like, I mean, it's too much to try to figure out for me. And how much of it is the original photo? Like, that's the mystery of this too. It's like, it's so much that you'll never know. That's where there's power in the work, man. Keep killing them, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Real talk. Because I haven't really, only person I showed these three works is my brother and Taylor once, because I was trying to find out if I wanted to crop into the O on the donut piece. She was like, nah, don't crop it, but I ended up cropping it anyway, because like, nah, that's I guess I already had the answer already when I asked the question. I just didn't. I wanted a second opinion, but you know, type shit. But yeah, man, I like where these are going, and I'm definitely interested in being able to put up the original photo next to pieces so people can actually look like, oh, this is, oh snap, son. I'm like, yeah.
Nah, you should hold that for the retrospective.
Should I though?
Yeah.
Thing is,
you gotta let the mystery sit for longer.
True. They'll be like, yeah, they says it's photography.
They just gotta allow them to appreciate this. Like people, I think people want to live with the mystery longer and let them discover the original later in life. You know what I mean?
Right.
You give them too much too soon, they over it. They feel like, all right, I get it. You know what I mean? Like the same mystery I have coming into this, like, oh, let me break it down. What am I looking at? Just leave them at that point of awe, because you know what I mean, they can live with their story behind it, and then you know what I mean, like that also adds value to the original photo later. It's like, oh man, this is the original photo that inspired this piece, and now I got it, and it's like, this is more powerful. It might become more valuable than that artwork after a while.
Right.
Like, oh snap, I got the original photo. Oh,
that is interesting.
Don't give them all that. Don't give them too much.
It's just one of them things that I remember when we had the piece up or had to show up in the Downings Grow Center, and a couple of artists like, dang, bro, I remember you saying that this is photography, but like they couldn't, it wouldn't connect. So I'm like, dang, man, I guess that'd be my way of helping people connect the two, like to be able to look at it and be like, okay, so I see very loosely that this is the photo that this was made from. I still don't get how or why it looks so painterly, but at least I'm giving them a frame of reference so they can understand it's a photograph. You dig what I'm saying? I don't know.
I look at it as like, how the museum got a couple of joints where they got the original paint, or they might do it like a special exhibition or something. They had the artwork that we're exhibiting, and then they'll have like the reference image that they might have been inspired by. But that reference image is some other artist, some other artist's works they appropriated from however long ago. But like they didn't exist in the same time frame. You know what I mean? Originally, they weren't. It's a recontextualization of an older artwork or older time and era, where like you can exhibit them together because of that distance. But there's no like, because this work is created within the same time frame, like for it to be like an abstract version, like you're the original, but like what you captured in the original photo was that moment, right? That time frame of when the riots and all that. And people experienced that. People knew that was happening. It was happening all over the country. So like, I feel like they'll feel that through enough of this, the work that you already got.
I feel that, man,
because they experienced it. But then like the original photo was for like generations later to be like, what was COVID? What happened? What was that, huh? What was that? Like, here go.
That's a good point.
Here go a photo of what it really looked like. And here go the work that I made thousands
I've heard of such things. I've heard of COVID.
And this is why this artwork that I'm holding for you, kid, is your legacy.
Yeah, I dig that. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to think about that now.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna inspire me to do more work because I'm gonna want to do more joints like this.
Man, I was watching a video on YouTube the other day about folks be doing the white paintings, where it's just a white painting. It's just white on the canvas and that's it.
I heard about that. That's the thing right now. I mean, I get it, but I'm sure it's happened. Oh, so
all right, I got you. A bunch of people just making plain white paintings as a reference to abstract expressionism, or the opposite. More, I guess it's more like minimalism, actually.
Yeah.
And I was watching a video of people just being salty about it, like, man, how is this art? Man, this is. And I was so filled by it, like, damn, I feel like creating now, man.
Yeah,
like, creating off their saltiness. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. It's interesting. That's
I thought of stuff like that because like anything that was done in like the minimalist time era time frame, I feel like I can do and recreate using my process. So it goes back to what you were saying about like having that infinite, you know what I mean, like horde of concepts and ideas. I'm like, I can do that forever. Like this is almost, it's almost like that. Like this is like, this is my, what was my dude name? He has a Klein, Yves Klein, Klein blue, Yves Klein got that blue. So like this is kind of like, almost an ode to that. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, so this is just blue geoscape. Like that's it.
Right. Yeah.
It's just blue on blue. and that's
different blues though. That's the interesting thing about it.
Yeah, it's about, technically it's probably about like 4 different blues.
And even though white is blue.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Because I'm like, yo, a nigga who, or a person, excuse me, I know you're recording. A person who don't know wouldn't know, you know what I'm saying? But like, if you've been through enough color theory, you'd be able to tell, like, it's white, but it's not, it's very clearly blue.
Yeah.
It's just very light blue.
Yeah. Yeah, because that time that we did our show, this is what I was. This is what I was planning on creating around that time, pretty much. It's like, what's the other dude name? Roscoe through the. I was planning on exploring Roscoe through this style and all that. Like, all right, let me just take these abstract works, you know what I mean, like, and doing my way. I probably could have messed around and do some Jackson Pollock.
Easy.
We were doing that style, but I mean, like, I don't, whatever.
You need to do tape paintings, man. That frame or a tape. Not paintings, but like a tape prints and like sandwich them between glass and frame them joints. You know what I'm saying? That way they won't peel.
All right, I got you. So use the tape as
the paint. You dig? But
gotcha.
Do what you want to do. You the artist here. Hey.
You grown.
You know what I'm saying? It would just be cool. It'd be interesting to me.
Yeah. Nah, I dig that. Because there's plenty of colored paints out there I could use to like do even more of that, explore color theory. But yeah, that's that issue of like so many ideas.
Man,
what do I stop with? What do I start with?
I'm about to put in these applications for grad school and stuff, man. And I'm trying to go into spring of next year, so 2021 at the top of the year. So I'm looking at VCU. I'm looking at all this stuff is expensive. So I'm just looking honestly, because the schools I really want to go to, they asking for like 80 grand for a master's. I'm like, good luck with that, bro. I'm not giving that type of money.
Gotta get somebody else to talk to Kim, man. Kim will give you some inspiration on. I just did a talk with her and some other people about financial literacy and the arts. And she talks a lot from the idea of like plan and get your money straight. If you plan on going to school, find somebody to pay for it. If you do enough of the research, it ain't gotta cost you, especially at the grad level. Like,
right. Yeah, I'm definitely.
If you set it up right, you should not be paying for grad school. Doctoral candidates do not be paying for college. Like, it's almost like frowned upon to be paying for your doctoral program, because like at this point somebody need to be paying you for the work that you're doing. I mean, the research you're doing. And they probably get more money from taking on those grants and things and being like, oh yeah, that person who got that grant is studying at my school.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, we got that person. Like, it's all about clout.
That's all the world is about. That's all the art world is about. Is clout. And that rhyme. That's all the art world is about. Is the clout.
It is what it is. Man, dang, I don't know if you saw the post that I posted about the woman who stole artworks.
From where?
From the internet. She painted her own artworks, but copied other artists' works. She had a whole like theme and stuff behind the show.
Oh, I'm with that. I'm with that. That's interesting. I just showed up like, oh snap, son. Ooh,
but there was all like bad copies of other artists' original works, and it happened out here. Matter of fact, that's why I was interested, because it happened like not too far in like one of the arts communities out here. It was a gallery show, and the way that gallery works is I say kind of like Gallery 21, where you pretty much just like. Yeah. More like the Well, like the spot we did at the Well Art Gallery, where you either you pay or you rent out the space to have your show. So it's not like somebody's inviting you. You got to send an application to be like, is my artwork good enough? It's like,
right.
If you send us the bread, we'll have your show.
Your artwork is good enough.
But you do got to sign off that the artwork is original, and she did. She signed off on that, but then.
Technically, it
turned out that it was like 33 paintings, and they at least identified over half of them joints was copies, and it was bad copies. It was crazy.
Hey, you notice we I don't want to say we put them on, but you notice they popping now, right? You don't know what I'm talking about? The Whales jump.
Oh, I got you.
Like if you been paying attention, they popping now, bro. Like
I still follow them. They doing their
quality of art that they got up there now. I'm like, yo, I don't want to say we put them on, but
claim it, man. I was just watching Cameron on Drink Champs, man. He's like, I talk to myself. Yeah, it was like I talk to myself in the mirror every day. Tell myself I'm that man. Like, you gotta claim it, man.
It's like that. Well, I feel like we did that, man. We at least put a little more clout on there, you know what I'm saying, as far as quality of art. Now I see who's out there and having pieces, you know what I'm saying, like the open hang night.
Oh yeah, I was doing that.
Oh, I said I seen Rain have some work up there, the open hang night. I saw like some other artists that's super ill that's up there, and I'm like, yeah, I rocks with that. If I end up going to VCU, I'm going back there having a solo show. I'm about to.
Yeah, somebody had their grad show there before.
Oh, word.
Mm-hmm.
I can rock with that. Yeah. I'm really about this black shit right now.
We was there. It's a good space to have a show.
Yeah.
A lot of wall space. Got some decent lighting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Got space for people to walk in and out.
Do their thing for sure.
They got an orange. That back door orange. The back door is orange now. I was just looking at it. Their page a little bit ago.
Yeah, they touched the joint up. I feel like they're running it more flawlessly now than when we was there. But hey, growing pains, man. I ain't mad at nothing.
It is what it is.
I ain't
finna get into NFTs right now. I don't know how to. it's too
That's
much.
that's a whole
Yeah.
nother interview, bro. Because
Yeah.
as soon as I seen, I'm like,
Yeah, I was about
oh,
to say, just know I got a photo on my computer that says NFT. So
man, bro. As soon as I got word, I was licking my chops. I'm like, yo, everything I make is digital work, and literally
yeah,
everything is digital. I'm like, yo, I'm in there. I'm gonna find
yeah,
my way in there, bro.
yeah. It's just a little research. Yeah, I did some good preliminary research. So for me, it's just a matter of like deciding if I'm gonna really jump on it or not. It's like anything else though. Like the more you learn about it before just like taking that leap, I feel like you'll just like talk yourself out of it. So I'm trying to like
We low
balance
key,
that spot right now.
we low key gotta wait for the hype and for the hype to die down a little bit, because so many people, so many fake artists came through and started making cheap work, just flooding the market, right? So now, like a lot of the good websites, you can't just make stuff on there. They gotta vet you first. You gotta send
Yeah, I
them
seen that. Yeah.
all that stuff now. So I'm like, okay, that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. And I'm not mad at that, because that's the way weeding out people who just trying to hit a lick versus people who are actually artists trying to get into the. So I'm waiting on that. I'm gonna give it a year and some change, and I'm coming in with the boots and with the Timbs on, boy, kicking out the door. Yeah, watch.
Timbo
Watch.
Davis.
Yo, facts, man.
I hear
With the chopped cheese.
that.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Interesting
For
stuff.
sure. Let's do it. I'm probably try to crop it here so that we can have a not too long of a video. I think we probably got an hour in at least.
Yeah, you good. About to say, I got probably making nachos at Taylor and them crib anyway, so I gotta hit the stove.
For that. That's hard. I gotta make some salmon, so
yeah, that's even better. That's even better.
thanks.
When you
But
pulling up out here?
I got no idea, so just live with that.
Hey, good shit. That's all I need to know.
It is what it is.
Shoot,
But
I'm gonna
bro.
hit your line and shit though, bro. Be
Yes,
easy, man.
sir.
Be safe.
You too. We out of here.
Peace.